something you mentioned earlier, which is also part of the business. This is pilot and crew training. And this is also a segment that's over the last couple of years has been influenced by, early retirements, graduation rates in schools, as well as the growth in the industry as well. How do you see demand? And obviously there is projected demand over the next, couple of decades, but how do you see demand developing from where it is today to over the next couple of decades for pilot training?
Again, very cyclical market. I mean, after the COVID, there were probably 25,000 plus pilots with freeze license or license or type which is not anymore demanded, and they need to go to the temporary trainings, pass the type training courses, and they change their types. Basically, pilot training is a full ecosystem. We have a ab initio or ground training when young cadets goes to the ground school, flies with the turboprop aircraft, one twin or two twin, 150 hours, then go for the theoretical courses to simulator, and then we received the 0 flight hours commercial pilot license. So basically, in the world during the COVID, simulators producer didn't stop production of simulators. So basically, amount of the commercial aircraft dropped or shrinked in the amount, but amount of the simulators, it was exactly the same what was predicted pre-COVID. So basically, in the world we have enough, or even in some cases, oversupply of full flight simulators. But at the same time, still airline companies complaining that in some cases they have a shortage of the pilots. Why? Because it's not infrastructure, it's all ecosystem. So many airline companies stop providing cadet programs. Company sponsor, bank sponsor, or private sponsor with guaranteed job for the cadet, for the student. And many companies renew them 23, 24, we're planning to renew 2025. It's important that every airline company should have at least 10, 15, 20% of their pilot trained, financed by the airline company, and it's a minimum backup. Those pilots will remain with them. Now it's very interesting thing happening. New licenses and new technologies allow to reduce number of flight hours on the turboprop aircraft in ground school and to use fixed flight simulator, which is directly combined and approved by the airline manuals and training programs and many requirements. So actually airline company from the very beginning can prepare pilot which will be exactly tailor trained for that airline company. And I think this is very important that airline companies which want to remain in the market with their positions, they need to invest in cadet programs. And our organization, 80% of our capacity is used for the third parties. BAA Training is a 19 years old organization. This year will be 20 years old organization. And we have all needed skills, and we're servicing, from blue chip carriers to ACMI carriers. So our ACMI airlines as well, paying attention to that. And we are planning that every year up to 200 cadets will join our crews.
Now, we've looked at the industry on a broad perspective. I want to bring it to some of the trends which are currently happening now, and to just take some of your words there, paying attention to capacity, which is something that the group does today. Now, one of the early stages, well, there's a trend, you could say, or the early stage is what we're seeing, where airlines, global airlines, are contracting their fleets or retiring aircraft, to avoid maintenance-related groundings in the future. And they're a little bit cautious about softened bookings, especially for 2025, cautious about overcapacity. What's your view on this?
Two OEMs didn't supply 3,400 aircraft since 2020 till now. And of course, green life of the current existing fleet was extended because there is no aircraft. But our model is it's helped us to get contracts all around the year, different continents, and it's helped us to reach flexible behavior of authorities, not asking to have airline operate certificate in each country where we operate, for example, Mexico. But it's temporary, and we're using this window for opportunities first to educate our customers that not necessarily we need to have all around the year aircraft in their fleet, paying not necessarily payments when they have no flights. And there is a solution for up to 6 months to use temporary capacity using our license in particular countries. So currently this month will be 13 AOCs. And in almost all countries where we have our clients, we can provide ACMI with local certificate, which means that domestic flights, no problem. Authorities has no any complaints because they know that they supervise local carrier, local legislation, and local flight safety management. Basically, it's a good window to educate our customers. And I will come back again. Every airline company in the Europe with narrow bodies losing money 6 months in winter. Every. If you look even publicly listed companies, they quarter by quarter, they're losing money. An important fact, why publicly listed airline companies starts financial year in Europe 1st of April, just because they don't want to disappoint investors from the beginning of the year, because first quarter is the biggest loss-making month for narrow-bodies airline companies in the Europe. And in some cases, education process takes very long. I mean, we are talking that publicly listed companies, they have independent management, and it's a revolutionary solution for them. Rid off of 40% of the aircraft in winter and to add ACMI in summer. In some cases, we are not aware. Product is very new. We heard, ACMI, it's all the aircraft, it's a small company, we cannot provide good quality to the services. But one of our AOCs, airlines, has the biggest clients, 25 aircraft per one client, and it's a 25% of their fleet. Yes, the main risk for our business are operations, because when it comes that airline companies dispatch and ops people using subcontractor, third party, it's new for them. So in line with our educational steps which we're doing towards our clients and authorities around the world, operational risk is also very important. If one airline company uses 1 or 2 aircraft of ACMI and we would be disappointed, probably next year we will say, oh no, we rather will have our own fleet, we will order more aircraft. But at the end of the day, we're coming again to the basic. Everybody losing in wintertime in Europe, and majority of losing in wintertime, in summertime in Latin America and Asia Pacific. So this is a constanta. We're talking about the climate zones would not change for the next 100 million years. So at the end of the day, we should again come back to our customers, to the airline companies, to the authorities, and to educate them and spend time on brainstorming how we can do better, how we can structure our operations, and where we can find the right sustainable solution for both organizations.
Now, the topic that you mentioned here about educating the market, there must be a lot of education as well that you do internally, because the group does deal across various aspects of the aviation ecosystem, be it maintenance, be it pilot training, aircraft capacity. And the industry is always rapidly changing, as we've seen over the last decade or so. What's your strategy for the group in terms of adjusting to the different changes in the market, when there are fluctuations or when there's, predictable patterns in the market? What's your strategy for that?
Probably it's nothing new in maintenance and pilot training. So as I said, this is a strong backup for our business, and we would not operate 220 aircraft without our strong maintenance branch. But I would like to mention some interesting different facts. Some airline companies trying to leverage summer winter owning fleet, owning aircraft. That means that they lose less money in winter time, because except for lease payments, they have depreciation costs, which is less. But still, we need to keep pilots in their crew. We need to pay for parking, insurance, and many other things. And actually, this is actually a result that these airlines companies leveraging their seasonality, but we keep freezed a lot of shareholders' money in ownership of the aircraft. And currently, aviation is very skinny business. For many years, it's very skinny business. And shareholders wants not just to see good results because the airline company has everything in-house. Because 1980s, with the first low-cost carrier, Southwest airline, born in the market, and we outsource everything. So we're talking that in some cases, quite reasonable way to leverage seasonality owning aircraft. But if those companies are public, they're actually keeping a lot of proceeds of their shareholders just to leverage seasonality and not using ACMI products.